Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, Vincent LaRusso and I are going to be discussing the announcement today that Billy Joel is going to be putting out a new single, Turn the Lights Back On. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about his amazing career, seeing him in concert, and much more. Lots to talk about in this episode. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So let's jump in and let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. Today I have with me my buddy, my comrade, the man who insisted on us doing another episode this quickly. Please welcome back to the show, Vincent LaRusso.
I actually got to say tonight, because we're doing this quite late. I don't know if we've ever
It's
done a
in the
podcast
middle
this
of the
late.
night.
No. Oh, you were freaking infamous with that song.
Oh man, I was infamous.
Was it that
with
one?
song.
Was it that one?
For the longest
Oh, no.
time, for the
No,
longest.
not that one.
No?
Not that song.
Okay.
I'm only human.
Oh yeah.
You're only human.
You're
Oh
supposed
God,
to.
you used to play that song.
Yes, I was a fan of that song. I was a fan of that song.
Yeah, I
but,
remember you and your brother. Yeah.
yeah, but we
Anyways.
decided to jump on, like you said, a little bit late for us. This is a evening recording for us.
But never late.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh, edit that out. Edit that out.
Never late for a tasty beverage from Kirkland.
I'm glad that you enjoy your
Anyways.
tasty beverage at all times of the day. But you had texted me, I guess, a couple of hours ago at this point. You're like, did you see the news? I'm like, yeah, I actually saw it like 15 minutes ago. And I guess like, it's been almost 20 years. And today, Billy Joel announced he's releasing a new song for the first time. I think it's in 17 years. So I think you're told,
really?
Yeah, I think it's 17 years since he had one song that he put out. And then it's like 30 years since he's put out an album, basically.
Oh, is that what it was? The album? Yeah, I knew the album had to be like around 30 years.
Yeah, I think he did it,
okay.
you know, and people who are watching this, if they're big Billy Joel fans than me, correct me, but I think he put out a new song like 17 years ago. Just like one song.
About that.
Yeah. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to do a little bit more research on that. But all I know is you messaged me and you were thoroughly thrilled. You're like, we got to get on, even if it's for 15 minutes, and talk about this. No. So before we even talk about the announcement, obviously, we're talking about Billy Joel announcing that he's putting out a new single, Turn the Lights Back On, appropriately titled, I guess, on February 1st. What is your level of Billy Joel fandom?
Oh, I was always a big Billy Joel fan. I remember I have very fond memories of being 7 years old, and in my family, The Stranger was played over and over again. I mean, it's unbelievable how every time I hear that album, especially if I hear it, because we used to, obviously, there was albums, you know, side one, side two, you know, hearing the order, knowing what's coming next, and having that feeling of my old living room. And, you know, whether it was my mom would have it on when she was cleaning the house, or I would always request to have it on. You know, I can remember the records of that, you know, that particular year. And then, because I honestly, being 7 years old, I really didn't know any of his other work at that point, you know. And then as a kid, being loving that album, and then just really kind of following him album after that, 52nd Street, and then I think Glass Houses, and the Nylon Curtain, and then The Innocent Man, I think was after that, and then The Bridge. If I got them all, I might have missed one. Super Mario, you could correct me. You know, he's a big Billy Joel fan. Yeah, I was just I think also because, and I always get into a debate. I was a big Elton John fan, and being two piano-based songwriters. And it was, I guess it was like, to me, it was like the trifecta of songwriters that I loved as a kid was Paul Simon, Elton John, and Billy Joel. And
I
even
thought
to
the
this
Paul was
day,
going to be McCartney.
well, let me just, okay, that's fair enough. I mean, Paul McCartney's in his own stratosphere. Beatles, I mean, he did have his solo work. And you can say the same thing for Paul Simon, who had Simon and Garfunkel, or as our former mayor said,
So
Simon and
rank them.
Garfinkel.
Wait, hold on. Rank them.
Well,
McCartney, Simon, Stanley.
what am I ranking?
Songwriters. McCartney, Simon, and Stanley, the three Pauls.
Oh, well, I mean, come on now. McCartney's number one. Comparing Paul Simon and Paul Stanley is kind of unfair in the genre. But, as a body of work, I probably have to give it to Paul Simon. I mean, just an incredible songwriter. And, because he was an innovator. I'm not saying like Paul Stanley, was he an innovator? You know what I mean? They were basically copying the bands that they said they loved, British bands, they loved, Led Zeppelin. But Paul Simon coming out of that era of the 60s, I mean, especially if you really listen to the stuff he did with Simon Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water, to me, is one of the top 5, maybe greatest songs ever written. Top 10. I mean, I'm just quickly thinking it was an incredible song. But that's not to minimize Paul Simon's work. But what I usually get into an argument about with friends, or a debate, let's say, not an argument, is who is the better songwriter, Elton John or Billy Joel? Now, not who has better songs, who is the better songwriter? And I always say, my argument is always, well, Billy Joel wrote the lyrics and he wrote the music.
Right.
And we know that Elton John wrote the music and Bernie Taupin wrote the lyrics. Right. That's not to minimize Elton John's songs like Daniel and, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, and, countless number, that whole Goodbye Yellow. Let me just public service announcement right now. If you never listen to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road in its entirety, that record, you're missing out, because that record is almost like a greatest hits. And even the songs that weren't hits on that record are incredible. It's just an incredible record from top to bottom. And he's got so many incredible records. But that was always the debate, like who was the better songwriter, that I would have. But
and I would say Billy Joel also, for myself, just personal preference. Not even thinking. I thought you brought up great points about the writing process itself, but I happen to like Billy Joel's songs better.
So, but you see, as New Yorkers, it's almost like Billy Joel has home field advantage. Billy Joel is a Long Island guy, right? He wrote New York State of Mind. He wrote songs about being a New Yorker, except when around Allentown. It's so funny. I saw a video a couple of days ago before this, and Liberty DeVito, who was his longtime drummer, and originally he was singing, living here in Levittown, which is like,
oh, really?
Long Island.
Yes.
And I think
like 2 towns over from me.
Yeah. And I think Liberty said, what goes on in Levittown? He goes, and Billy's like, nothing. What can I write about? Allentown, the song, the factories and all that. So he couldn't really manufacture a song. So he a little trivia on that song. Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, I'm going to throw out something, because I like to throw these things out that make people hate me. I can't friggin' stand the song Piano Man. How about that? Okay. Yeah. I know that's one of Billy Joel's classics.
Piano Man or Cold Gin?
Ah, boy. So Cold Gin is boring, but I don't hate it. Yeah. I just, Piano Man, like I saw Billy Joel in concert last year for the first time, and I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed it. He put on a great show, and as soon as Piano Man started, I'm like, bathroom time. I'm probably doing. Everybody else like, yeah, greatest song ever, and I'm like, I just freaking can't stand that song. I love Pressure. I love the Glass Houses album. You May Be Right. Those kind of songs. I just can't stand the song Piano Man.
Yeah, well, you're probably in the minority on that one.
I am in the minority on that one. I know that. But I just
fair enough.
But I love when I saw him, and he's like,
piano hating bastard.
I love when I saw him last year, and he starts telling us he's introducing the song The Entertainer. And he's like, I always wanted to be a big star, and I had the song Piano Man talking about struggling as a piano player. It becomes a big hit. So what do? I write a song about the entertainer complaining about becoming a big star. So I just and I love his personality in concert. And it was just, he's a great performer. I just, for
Absolutely.
whatever reason, just never liked that song. But the other 2+ hours that he was performing, one song after the other, I'm like, this is a
Well,
classic. This is great. This is great.
it's the thing about, and if you really dig deep into his songwriting, his chops, and I think after his whatever his last, official, well, he did, I'm going to say, I think I'm botches up. I think he did a classical record, or he did some sort of
Yes.
a album of like classical music after his last band record or weird, so he's got such a knowledge of the piano and the chord choices, and it's just that, and someone like Elton John, the voicings that he uses, it's something that really, if you dig deep into his early catalog, and there's a funny story. I don't know if you know about his first record. When they mastered it on vinyl, they did it at the wrong speed.
Yes, I did hear
So
that.
yeah, so if you get it, and I have it, you can actually play it on, and it just sounds not like a chipmunk, but
Right.
obviously it sounds sped up, and then they wound up fixing it. But
Mhm.
I think that, not Long Cold Winter, Cold Harbor. What's that? Long Cold
Long
Harbor or
Cold
something. I'm
Harbor,
thinking
something.
Long
Yeah,
Cold Winter,
it's
Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting. But anyway, something Cold Harbor, I think it is.
Yeah.
But anyways, but yeah, his voicings, his melodies, and just as a storyteller, as a singer songwriter, we're used to, as Kiss fans, right? Ladies Room, Doctor Love. There's no real. They're fun, sexual songs,
Right.
but Billy Joel and is totally different songwriter in that aspect. That's why you even say, like, Paul Stanley or Paul Simon.
Right.
I mean, lyrically, you can't really even compare. You know what I mean? It's just
Although I
the
guess it says something about me. My
sophistication.
my favorite Billy Joel song is "It's Just a Fantasy."
Well, that's, I mean, but yeah, that's fair point. Fair point. But that might be more because of the music. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's because
yeah.
of lyrics, right?
No, no, I never
Well,
care one way or another about what the lyrics are in a song.
so that's what I loved about Billy Joel. His records, if you go from top to, or from bottom to top, or top to bottom,
Mhm.
however you want to say it, he really tried to, in some ways, reinvent himself. And when he came out with, if you listen to Nylon Curtain, there's a lot of like Beatle influence in that
Mm.
record. I'm not talking Pressure. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about, but you listen to, and you could hear in the chord changes and stuff like that, and some of the instrumentation. He also was very fortunate to have one of the best producers in Phil Ramone, who produced his records. Sonically, these records sounded great. And then when he came out with Innocent Man, and I know a lot of people don't like that record, Tell Her About It, and Uptown Girl were huge hits on MTV. I
Yeah.
remember they were playing those songs. And I loved that record because I grew up with my dad, who sang doo-wop, and I listened, because of him, of all that 50s
Yep.
doo-wop music. And if you look, it's really interesting. If you look at the Wikipedia on that record, it'll say each song in the style of, like, one, he
Oh,
tries to
really?
put, like, Uptown Girl, he's trying to sing like uh Frankie Valli, and the
Mm.
other song, like, so each song he kind of was given a tribute to a particular, it could have been Otis Redding, it could have been whoever, you know what I mean? But
So,
that's what was really cool about that record, and just the harmonies and the vocals that his
yeah.
band did. It's just a great record. And just as another side note, I might have said this on another podcast or whatever. If you're ever looking for a band from the 80s that I think is very underrated, you may or may not like their music, but listen to Huey Lewis and the News on their first couple records, especially, and listen to the vocals. They were guys. You could do a YouTube search on Huey Lewis and News. They were on an award show where they're all sitting around the mic and they're doing like
Yep.
an acapella thing.
I remember
And
that
at the
actually.
time, we're like, what the hell is this? Like, it was just such a, I thought it was a ballsy thing to do, because I guess maybe people want to hear them do "I Want a New Drug" or whatever, and they
Right.
went up
Right.
and did this thing, which is, to me, it showed the artistry, it showed their history of where they came from, of why they're singers. So I guess my long-winded thing about the Billy Joel and Innocent Man, that's why I love that record so much too, because of just the vocals on that record
I've
are
never thought
wonderful.
about this before, and I definitely don't want to go down this road. This could be another whole episode, but I guess in the 80s, there was like this resurgence of like 50s music in the
Mm,
80s, right? So you're talking about Huey Lewis doing that awards performance. And I remember that very vividly now that you say it.
mm,
Obviously, Billy Joel's got this album with some 50s
mm,
throwback to it. Think
mm,
about Madonna at that time, like what was it, 87, did True Blue, which had definitely like
mm,
a 50s type feel to it, that
mm,
song.
mm.
I never thought about like how some of the pop culture and some of those pop songs that were popular there in the mid 80s had that 50s throwback.
And,
And I'm kind of enjoying that lately, like listening to some of that music, but I never realized how there's multiple artists kind of doing that 50s throwback at that time.
and 50s and 60s. I mean, a song that gets mocked so many times, and rightly so, if you watch the video, is Mick Jagger and David Bowie doing Dancing in the Streets. You know
Right.
what I
Yep.
mean? So there was a lot of bands who, even the dance stuff, they were doing covers, but people thought they were new songs, but they
Yeah.
were, they were covers of like 50s
Twisted
and
Sister
60s.
did leader of the pack.
Leader of the Pack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
who was that? The Shangri-Las? I don't remember. But anyways,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so.
So there
Yeah.
was a bit of a resurgence of that.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Billy started it, but
Ah,
whatever. But I think that's a ballsy move, when you have a record and the progression. I mean, just imagine you come out with a record like The Stranger. How do you follow up? It's like
right.
Thriller. That's like his Thriller. I
Yeah.
mean, that record from top to bottom is incredible.
It's one of
That
the
record,
first albums I remember as a kid. My parents had it in their house, and it
yeah,
was always like
yeah.
front and center. I think it was always being played.
Yeah, and how many times you flip over the back and I think Liberty DeVito has the Yankee jersey on.
Yep.
It's like, oh, well, Yankee fan,
Yes,
like being
exactly.
from New York, it was like the coolest thing. Like
Yes.
this guy was like, he was like our homie, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Minus the
Scenes from
clown.
Italian Restaurant. I mean, that
Yeah,
song just
well,
friggin'
it's incredible, that song.
yes.
I remember
Yes.
I have
Agreed.
a very vivid memory of that song, and we were listening to it in a house. My cousins were over, and we were just listening to the lyrics and just listening to how that song starts, develops, ends.
Yes.
Totally brilliant. Like,
That to me is the quintessential. I might have a favorite. I said, it's just fancy, but the quintessential Billy Joel song to me
mhm,
is the scenes from Italian Restaurant.
yeah,
To me,
yeah,
that to me, that's just such a great, well-written song. It was great hearing
mm,
him do it live. It just
mhm.
it tells a whole story. It's a great song to me.
And to your point, you said it earlier, and especially if you watch him now or in the 80s or the 70s, he was a tremendous performer. He would jump on the piano, do this. He'd play guitar. He'd go up and play guitar. He always had a tremendous band. You know, I know we haven't even talked about the fact that he's putting out a single yet.
Right, so
Well, I
we're gonna
think
get there in a moment.
you asked if I was excited about Billy Joel and the song coming out, and part of me is really excited about it because me, I'm old school man. And recently, the Stones have put out a record, they had that Beatles song, and so I had heard for so many years, like he didn't want to write songs anymore,
Yep.
like he was done.
He was the
And I
first
was like,
artist I can remember ever saying, "That's it. I can't live up to my old catalog. I'm not putting out any new music." And
yeah,
I remember thinking at the time, "That's crazy."
yeah,
I get it now as I've gotten older because look, I'll be honest, when I heard this announcement today, I understand how my friends feel sometimes when we go see Def Leppard or some of these other bands and they're doing new music and they're like, who cares? Do the hits. And there was a part of me that's like, well, that's cool that he's putting out a new song, but if I go see him in concert, I don't care one bit if he does turn the lights back on or not. I want to hear the classics, So,
yeah,
but you were obviously much more excited hearing this announcement today.
yeah, because he's one of the greatest songwriters of our time.
Mhm.
And the fact that he's still active and playing music, I mean, he's been doing this MSG run for how many years, which is incredible.
I think in July it'll be his 150th show, and I think he's going to end it at that point,
Yeah.
which is just freaking nuts.
And I just think that with the lack of quality music, I know Paul Simon retired recently in the last couple of years from doing concerts, and we're losing a part of our life, a part of our musical heritage. We're losing a part of our childhood when these
Yep.
people either pass or they stop doing music, and it's just nice to know. I mean, they gave you a little teaser. There was a 30-second, and I just heard like the chord changes. I'm like,
Yep.
oh, that's like so Billy Joel. Like I was like, but and I got excited about hearing it. Now I don't expect it to be a scene from Italian Restaurant
Right.
or Just the Way You Are or The Stranger
Right.
or but it's just the fact that he's doing it again, and the fact that we could be excited that one of my musical heroes
Mhm.
is putting out new music. I think it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you from that point of view. And certainly on the first, I'll give it a listen. I know I read that there is going to be a vinyl that's put out for this. Now, you're a vinyl man, right? You got what,
Yeah,
20,000 vinyl? Would you
yeah.
buy this on vinyl, being that it's Billy Joel, one of your musical heroes?
Probably not at this point. I
Mhm.
mean, quite honestly, just I have really slowed down with the buying of the
Yeah.
vinyl and stuff like that. You start getting so much vinyl that you run out of space of where to put it.
Yeah.
You know, I would give you a panoramic view of my room, but and you say, oh yeah, he's got a lot of records. But yeah, I mean, if it was a full record, you know, perhaps, but for a single, probably not, you know. I think to have the idea of a full length album A and B and getting like a new fresh Billy Joel record, and I would be this way if Kiss put out a new record, you
Right.
know. Yeah, I have streaming services, but you know that feeling of grabbing that disc and putting it on. However, if a 45 came out of it, I'd be interested to go on like old school 45 on
Well,
like
that's
we
what I'm
used to do
saying.
in
I
the scene.
think I think Billy Joel's putting out a 45.
Well, then that's something would I
Yeah,
think I would
double
just
check me on that. Double
yeah,
check me. But I thought that I
yeah.
heard that
That'd
he's
be
putting out a
fun.
45.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
And I know you're not listening to a lot of vinyl these days because we've done what, 4 of these episodes in the last couple of weeks, and the same Kiss Love Gun album. You know exactly what I was gonna say.
Well, to be fair, recently, um, this is funny that your viewers will laugh at this. I had my girlfriend over the other day, and she was looking through my records, and this is the record that we played.
David Cassidy. There you go.
Cherish.
Cherish.
Yeah,
I
so
prefer Madonna's Cherish, but that's neither
yeah.
here nor there.
And before that, it was the Carpenters. So you know
The
my style, I'm
Carpenters.
old
Wow.
school. So
Look at
but
this.
but the thing is, you only say that because it was like in this pile, but kind of behind here, you know. So,
Right.
but yeah, the Love Gun, because we usually do Kiss things, but yeah, I probably should rotate it. You know, actually, untrue. This is the 7th podcast we've done today. All the things we put it in, we throw it in the DeLorean, we put it in the future. You know,
that's right.
yeah.
We recorded this actually on January 1st. We knew Billy Joel. Actually, Billy Joel
Yeah.
has been hinting that he was going to do
Yeah,
this. So,
right.
but
Yeah.
people who have followed his social media, this wasn't a total surprise in as much as it was like for you and I, who I think, you know, don't follow him on social media day to day, right?
Yeah.
So for me, when I saw the news, it kind of took me by surprise, as opposed to people, some of his diehards kind of knew this was coming, I think.
I think that what really the only thing that bothered me about this announcement
Yeah.
was Ace Frehley said that he sings better than Billy Joel, but that was, you know, oh no, I got that confused.
Oh. Oh man. So are you more
But yeah,
excited then for Billy Joel's new song or Ace Frehley new album?
Billy Joel's new song.
Wow, you didn't hesitate.
Yeah. Well, as I've told you, we've kind of talked off the show. I haven't been, and I've had a lot of people, and I think he's getting a lot of backlash. I don't like the you know the things in the media he's saying. You know, even I don't I know. Do a little side note. My brother brought this to my attention. He did a belated happy birthday to Paul Stanley.
I saw
It's like,
that today.
come
Yeah.
on, like
Yeah.
you just say, you know, you sing better than him. They're gonna make them look like imbeciles. And
Maybe
then,
Ace should have sang happy birthday to him.
jeez. But
Oh man.
you know, look, it just yeah, I just have a kind of a bitter taste in my mouth right now. I just wish this stuff would end, you know?
Yes, and I know you're joking, obviously, with the Ace comment there.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that's one of the things that really surprised me last year when I saw Billy Joel, is how strong his voice still was. I mean, I don't know, he's got to be in his 70s at this point, obviously. And he still sounded live so good. I remember when he did, what was it?
74.
74. So what was it? What was he doing? Was it For the Longest Time or one of those songs? And he's like, so this one's going to be hard for me to sing. Hopefully I could do it. And then he went, and I wish I could remember exactly which song it was, but it's one of those where it's not totally a cappella, but it's something like that, you know. And he was hitting some of the high notes still. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, this guy's in his 70s and he still got it, you know. And you know, good for him. So from that point, because I think the little teaser today, there was no vocal.
Where'd you see him?
The Garden. Where else am I
that's
saying?
Sure. What date was that? Sorry about that.
It was probably February or March of last year. I don't remember which month.
Okay, I'm gonna actually look up the set list because now you got me. Okay, got it. Was it maybe February?
It was a
25th?
Tuesday night. It was a Tuesday night because it was supposed to be a Saturday night concert, and it got postponed until Tuesday because the Rangers were in the playoffs.
February 14th.
No, definitely not February 14th.
No,
because that's my wife's birthday. I would have known we went on the day of her birthday.
All right. All right. The next time he played was March 26th.
So that's probably it.
Okay. So let's see. The longest time he did?
Yeah, that's probably it then.
No. You said he.
Oh, no. Okay. Just read through the set list.
Okay. Did he even do the longest time?
Maybe not.
Okay. It's a long set list. My Life,
It is.
Moving Out, Summer Highland Falls, The Entertainer, Start Me Up, An Innocent Man, Don't Ask Me Why, Vienna, minus the sausages.
An Instant Man. That was it. You know, when he does
Okay.
the whole,
yeah,
and he goes up and he
yeah.
hits that. I'm not even going to try to do that myself, but
Please
you know what
don't.
note I'm talking about. He still
Yeah.
friggin' hit it. I'm like, damn, that's good. Damn, he's 70 at the time, I guess 73 years old, and he hit that
Yeah.
note in An Instant Man. I'm like, that's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his tribute, I'll call it, to Mick Jagger, where he was like pretending to be Mick Jagger singing "Start Me Up" was hilarious. So if you're watching this and you've never seen Billy Joel do that, because he does it at various shows,
I see it did like fifth song. He did it.
Yeah. He only did like a minute of the song, whatever. Hilarious. I mean, he was acting like Mick Jagger, doing all the parts and doing all the moves and whatever. If you've never seen it, go look for a clip of it on YouTube. It's hilarious, and it's just all part of Billy Joel's personality to me when you see him in concert.
Awesome.
Yeah. So look, I'm looking forward to this song. Like I said, it'll probably be something I listen to a couple of times. But if I'm going to see Billy Joel in concert, I don't want to see him do Turn the Lights Back On instead of An Innocent Man, let's just say. You know, I want the classics. But you know, I guess that's because I'm more of I'll call myself a casual Billy Joel fan.
It's fair enough. Well, a guy like him, he did 26 songs. Well, he did 26, but I saw he did a couple of ZZ Top covers. He did Start Me Up. He did a little bit of, you know,
he's got ZZ Top cover. I don't remember that.
It said Tush and Lagrange. That's what it said.
Oh,
unless that's not the show you were at.
No, you know, towards the end of the show, he did a couple, like during one of his songs, he segued into a couple of covers. So I think maybe that's what it was, and I just don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Because it was, if I remember, I just like one of the last songs he did, maybe right before the encores, and whatever song he was playing, he segued into a couple of classic rock songs that he did for like a minute and a half. So that's probably what that was.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll be curious to see, you know, when you texted me that we should do this, I said, gee, I wonder how much our viewers will be into a new Billy Joel song. So I guess that's my question for everybody who's watching and listening to this. Are you excited over a new Billy Joel song in 2024? Are you a Billy Joel fan? If you are, what's your favorite album and songs? We just rattled off a bunch of classics. What do you think of my comment that I hate the friggin' Piano Man song? Hate it.
Little rough.
I know, but you know, that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else you wanted to cover on this topic?
No, I think I covered it all.
I think if the viewers are excited about this, we'll have to jump back on and do our review of Boo 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 on the song when it comes out.
I agree.
I know if I don't, then you might disown me as a friend anyway. So even if we only get 2 views, you and I watching this one, Ben, okay, we could do it.
We gotta talk about it. We gotta get on there now.
That's right. That's right. Well, we know Superman will probably watch it also. So we'll have 3. If it's 3 views, I promise I'll still do it just so you can get all excited talking about it.
Fair enough.
All righty. Well, that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching as always. On that note, we'll end this one with a simple one for Vin because it's late at night. The double ring. He gets scared now at the end of the show.
No, you heard me. Oh no.
No. I gotta come up with something new that with the things that I know you won't be able to do.
Don't do the friggin' Spock thing because I can't do that. The Mark and Mindy.
All righty, everybody. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys soon. Later.
Talk to you later. Bye.
All righty. There you have it. Let us know if you're excited for some new Billy Joel music in 2024. And also, if you're a Billy fan, let us know what your favorite album of his is. We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinion. Also, you could go ahead and tell me I'm crazy for not liking the song Piano Man. That's quite alright. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You could also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you all next time.